Paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The Larry Steinhouse Show.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Larry Steinhouse Show. Hey, we are broadcasting here live from Investor Schooling headquarters right here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I am Larry Steinhouse. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling, and I'm here to make financial education fun and accessible to everyone, but not Omri today because he's not here for this part of the show. So not Omri.
Not Omri
just
today.
You, Deb, and
Just
everybody
me.
else listening.
And you're even wearing your Investor Schooling T-shirt today. I haven't seen you wear that in a while.
I know. It's a polo shirt, right?
Is that
golf
yeah?
shirt,
The
right?
polo
Golf
shirt. Yeah. Because you're always wearing black, but this is your Investor
I know,
Schooling
I'm just
shirt.
wearing that one. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, on this show, we discuss several ways of making more money. We concentrate on real estate investing, stock option trading, the stock market, and how to maximize your retirement funds. Oh boy, we're gonna have some interesting conversations about the stock market today. I'm sure.
Yes,
In fact, I will bet you there will be people calling me and asking me my opinion on the stock market, and they could call at what number?
855-939-1137.
I love it.
That's 855-939-1137.
We need to have one of those like.
Call us at 855.
Let him to the number.
I know. I'm sorry.
1137. That's 855-939-1137. I won't stop. That's 855-939-1137.
7 seconds.
So Deb even
855.
listens. Deb even laughs during that.
1137.
So for you guys who didn't catch that phone number, it's 855-939-1137, and you can call and ask your questions about anything, including the stock market. Yes, you can call about the stock market.
I know, but what I was saying is that since Omri's not here, at least for right now, right? Because he'll be back a little bit later. We should have like, you know how they have on those TVs. They have like it's a chair, but it has like a screen at the top, and we have Omri's picture on it. You know,
we can have just a cardboard cutout.
Or we could have a cardboard cutout.
Let's get a cardboard cutout of Omri. We'll put him there.
There we go. We'll get one of you, and then we'll get one of him right next to it.
Yeah. And then there you go.
There you go.
So that way, when I'm not here.
We'll stare at you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
that'll work. Sure, that'll work. Okay.
All right.
By the way, we're also live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Please leave us a comment and say hello. Kimmy's already saying hello, and she's all upset because Omri's not here because Kimmy is Omri's #1 fan. All right. I'm also here with Dr. Deb, of course, and we have our sweet producer, Glenn Page. I can't do it the way Omri
I know.
does
You
it.
can't do it the way Omri
Glenn
does it.
Page, ready to
Not
take your
high
calls?
enough, Larry.
I know.
I know.
Not
I
high
can't do
enough.
it.
It's gotta be-
I just don't have the
higher
sexy. I don't have the sexy range that Omri has.
There you go.
You know,
There you go.
the deep voice for the phone number and the I don't know what kind of voice you want to call it.
Well, his accent, is,
Yeah, I guess, sure.
All right. It's
Anyway,
a whole accent thing,
So Glenn will be ready to take your calls, and that phone number again is 855-939-1137. And of course, the Larry Steinhouse Show is brought to you by Investor Schooling. At Investor Schooling, we teach you things about money I'll bet you never knew. We focus on practical learning, and we will equip you with real-world skills in real estate investing, stock options, tax saving tips, tax tips.
Here, you want some water?
tax saving tips.
Tax saving tips?
Tax saving tips. And the secrets to financial freedom. Our headquarters are right here in Bucks County, but our online courses teach eager investors all over the country. Our SVP for a free class is Thursday at investorschooling.com.
You remember when you used to get like AI or ChatGPT or whatever to do a new intro every week?
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking maybe you should start that again because I think that intro needs...
It's getting boring?
It's getting boring. It needs to be
Oh.
revised a little bit, and I think you
Okay.
should update it a little bit.
All right, I will do it. I'll use ChatGPT for ChatGPT.
ChatGPT? Yeah.
PP.
What does that stand for anyway? Do you have any idea? GPT?
I used to know and I forgot.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I actually used to know and I just completely forgot. Because it's, you could ask ChatGPT what it stands for, but you don't know.
That probably... I used it the other day to put together an ad for a piece of land.
Did you really?
I did. So I said, okay, here's all the details for the land. I said, mimic this style, and I put in this other style, and it spit me out something that was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm finding it pretty good too. As a matter of fact, it's funny because more and more I can tell that the letters of ChatGPT for two reasons. One is a lot of times they always start the same way. something with, like I hope you're doing well or something. I hope
Yeah,
this
but-
letter receives you well, which is so funny that they do that.
Yeah, but you know what you could do is that you could say, you could put in something that you write and say you put it in this style, so we can update it. So as it gets to know who you are, as how you write, then you can.
Right.
They can do that.
Glenn has just answered the question.
What was the question? What was the answer? Generative pre-trained transformer. Okay. All right. Thank you, Glenn.
Generative pre-trained transformer. So the real question is, did Glenn know that, or did he have to look it up on Google?
I bet you $100 you had to look it up on Google because who knows any of that
he's
stuff?
not even. He's
rolls off the tongue.
He's writing it to us. He doesn't even want to say it, right? That just shows you that he looked it up on Google because he probably had to cut and paste it because it's so many letters.
So many words.
I looked it up, but I did type it.
You did not. I don't believe you typed that. You copied and pasted that.
That's funny.
You had to.
Actually, this is ChatGPT talking to you right now. Glenn left the room.
Yes, in the
I'm
voice
taking
of,
over.
No, but it was
voice
an
of
AI
Glenn.
who just called you right before the call, and it doesn't sound anything like you, Glenn.
Yeah, I got a little excited because I thought we had a caller calling me wanting to know about the stock market. But I'm going to get there in a little while. I want to talk about you, Deb.
What do you want to talk
Because we
about?
don't get to talk about you often enough.
I know, because the conversation's always dominated by you and Omri. I'm actually here
Omri
for
just starts
myself.
Going. So when he's not here, we get to talk.
Okay.
So
all right.
I want to say how great you look today.
Oh, thank you.
She came in and she had her hair.
It's all wet.
Your hair was wet, right?
Yeah, it's still a little
So,
wet.
so,
So I took a shower just so I'd be nice and
Yeah.
clean.
Yep, she came in. She was smelling good. She was looking good, etc. So
What I smell like? Do you know what I smell like?
No.
Well, a coconut. Like there's coconut.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
coconut.
that's,
Everybody always smells a coconut. That's why I
Yeah,
asked.
so
It
she
wasn't a
smelled-
trick question. It was just like, hey, do you smell a coconut?
You smell like coconut, right?
There we go.
Okay. Anyway,
That's all right. You were telling me how good I look today. Go ahead. Go
I'm
on.
done with that. We were talking about how you smell. You smell like coconut. Look, it could be worse, so I'm really glad it's coconut.
No, I just took a shower. I'm good.
All right. So there you go. So I want to talk about some of the deals you're doing. So you started doing land flipping, which
I
is
started
really,
doing
really
land.
cool.
Yeah, I started
I
doing
mean,
some
I
land
love the
flipping.
fact about land flipping. But hold on one second. We actually got somebody from Delco wants to talk about a credit card issue. Ed, is this Ed that I think it is?
Yes, Larry.
It is Ed. It's Ed, my friend.
Yeah.
Who great guy. All right, what's going on, Ed?
We spoke this morning. In
Yeah.
the meantime, I looked up, did some information. I want to contact the legal aid of Southeastern Pennsylvania, who will help me for free file a counterclaim.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
You can do that. So why don't we talk? Listen, the audience has no idea what you're talking about right now. So why don't you start from the beginning?
Okay, I was since I've been sick, I had to default on a few credit cards because I went on SSDI. So this one credit card, Capital One, has sued me in small claims court for $1,500.
And by the way, what a
we went to
waste!
court.
What a waste! They're suing you for $1,500.
Yeah.
How much is it costing their lawyers to sue you for $1,500 on a weak case that they're probably never going to recover anyway? They just want to put a judgment against you. That's all they want to do. So they figure if they put a judgment against you, one day you'll pay it. But that's not going to happen either.
Right. Because they have to renew the judgment every few years anyway.
Yeah, I think it's 7.
Doesn't stay on there forever. Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
So
it's
anyway,
silly. Just total silliness.
Yeah, they sent. I think he was a retired lawyer, so he had a few cases that were, it was all bunched together, and that's what they did with my case. They bought a portfolio of loans, and that's how they my loan got caught in there. But they still have to provide, identify my loan specifically, and with the full account number and all the payments and everything like that.
Yeah. So what they're doing is they're showing up at the courthouse
provide.
and they're seeing who shows up. So
Exactly.
the people didn't show up, they automatically get judgments against. The people who do show up, like you, they're like, oh, now we got to work, and then they figure, maybe we'll work, maybe we won't. So you went in front of the judge, right? And the judge said,
I went in front of the judge and I asked the judge for certain documents from the plaintiff, and the plaintiff they did not have them, and the plaintiff said, can we have a continuance to provide all of this? And the judge asked me, if that was okay with me. I said okay.
No, you should have said no.
Yeah, I was going to say, you should have
You
said
should
no.
have said
and then
no. You
close
should have
the
said
course.
no. I'm here. I'm ready to
know.
go. They don't have proof. I'm done. I don't want to come back.
I know. After I left, I thought about that. I said I should have just said no. Let's get this over with. So anyway, we went outside, and I told the lawyer that I'm on SSDI, so you can't collect anything from me anyway.
Right.
So now,
did they set the date for the continuance?
Not yet. 60 days. Within 60 days.
Okay, so
they
they
have 60 days
they probably
to provide me. They have 60 days to provide me with all the information that I requested, and to set another court date. So I want to counterclaim because it's a waste of my time. They're harassing me, and they didn't. They brought a claim against me without all the proper paperwork, legal paperwork to sue me. So I can counter sue them for up to $1,000.
No. You counter sue them for $12,000.
No,
Yes.
I think the what I read was I can sue up to $1,000.
No,
But yeah, when I talk to legal aid, I will.
You always counter sue. So small claims court is $12,500. I think it is. So you counter sue for $12,000, and if they don't show up, you win $12,000.
Right.
And then they have to go to court, or they have to call you and say, "Hey, listen, we didn't show up. Can you drop this?"
And then you say no.
And then you say, "Well, I could drop it, but you got to drop the $1,500 and make it go away."
Right.
That's why you got to get aggressive with these people.
Yeah, I think they probably won't even respond.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. I
Because
think
you
they're not
said it's a
responding
cost. Is it cost effective to respond and go back to court again with me? You know,
Exactly.
because they know I'm going to go back to court.
Yeah, and that's just something else that they
I just want to let you know I appreciate the voice of the counterclaim, especially when I notify them, and I want to go to court, and then I want to notify their court, their lawyer, that I'm going to countersue them. They'll probably drop it.
Yeah, they'll either drop it or it'll just go away. But why don't you wait until you get the continuance date? Because they may be done with this already. They may have just already put you in the garbage. So don't file the countersuit until you get the continuance date. Then you file the countersuit.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I'll respond. Yeah, that's what I got. I'll respond to that date. Because they ask you if you intend to defend.
Right, exactly. If you intend to
And
defend,
okay,
you say
that's
yes,
what
and
that's what I'll
then you
say.
immediately file a countersuit. So you go right in, and you can do it yourself. You don't really need a legal aid attorney. If you want to have a legal aid attorney, it's fine. But you could just do it yourself. Just go to courthouse, file it, and you'll be done. Very cool, man.
Yeah, I have all the so it just feels good to fight back against these people, because.
Right. So how's your hunt for it's a kidney, correct?
Yeah.
How's your hunt for a kidney, man?
It's coming along. I'm down with Penn now. I gave up with Temple. I'm down with Penn, getting evaluated with Penn. It seems it's going to be a lot better with Penn.
All right, good.
Like I said, I got to lose. They said I got to lose 20 pounds. I lost 5 pounds already. So I got 15 more pounds to go. It's not going to be that hard to do.
No, it's not. So just go do it. We talked about this on our webinar this morning. Go do it. Get on.
Yeah, that's.
Get on that and write it down and write down a
That's
goal.
That's my goal,
15 pounds.
and that's my job. That's my job for this week, right?
Exactly. All right, man.
So
I appreciate you calling.
I just want to fill you in.
Good luck.
Good to hear from you, Ed.
Thanks, Larry.
And hopefully we'll see you Monday night.
Bye-bye.
See you, man. Bye-bye. All right.
So that raises actually a question I'm wondering, and maybe you can answer for me. So say if you're married and your husband or your spouse racks up all this debt and you don't, and you're not, they have their own card.
Right.
And something happens to them where they pass away or something. Are you still responsible for that?
It's a really good question. This is why I tell people all the time, you should not joint your credit cards.
Right.
So you have a credit card in your name. He has a credit card in his name.
Right.
They're completely different accounts. They're not. Don't become authorized users, and don't get attached to your significant other, because this is what's going to happen. If one goes down, you take the other one with you.
Right.
So, and also, so if I was to die tomorrow, and I don't know, let's say I owe $200,000 worth of credit card debt, my wife doesn't have to pay it.
Okay, that was
and
my
she's
question.
actually instructed not to.
Okay.
I told her, do not pay any credit card bills unless they have your name on them. And when they start calling and they say, oh, we're going to sue you, say, here's my lawyer's number, here's my lawyer's name, good luck, because you're going to lose. Because that's number one reason why you should separate your credit cards. And here's a very close number two, is because if one person has bad credit and the other person has good credit, you can use their credit. So, like they can get a credit card and you can use it. That's why it's called significant other, right? You know what significant other stands for?
Sign if I can't. Yes.
Sign if I can't
Sign
other,
if I can't,
right?
Yeah.
Sign if I can't other. It's perfect. It's the greatest way to describe it. So if your significant other has bad credit, you can sign. If you have bad credit, they can sign. So it's don't mess up both credits because one person fell behind. Okay. This happens a lot, where couples, especially young couples, they get credit cards together. Like, hey, we have a credit card together. Oh, it's so great because we're married. We love each other, and we love each other so much that we now have a joint checking account, and we have a joint credit card together. Big mistake. Yeah. Joint checking account, not a bad idea. It's actually a pretty good idea. You might also want to have a separate bank account for you and a separate bank account for him. Yeah. Because that's just other things you should be able to do. Because remember, you're married. It doesn't mean that things aren't going to happen. I'm not talking about like the marriage breaking up.
No. I'm
talking about money.
I wish I knew that early on. Because I've always made a little bit more than my husband, and if we just kind of had a joint checking account for like the joint bills, the house, all the stuff to do with the house and the kids or whatever, and I kept my money separate, I'd have a lot more money.
Well, and that's true too, but you might not, because you might have just said, look, a lot of people are like, well, we have joint checking accounts and the mortgage is $3,000, so he pays $1,500, I pay $1,500. That's okay, but maybe you say, hey, listen, if I'm making $100,000, he's making $50,000, then you pay $2,000, he pays whatever ratio you want to do. Right. But just keep it in mind. Or you say, hey, listen, I'm going to pay the mortgage, you pay the electric bill.
Yeah.
And that's okay. However you want to arrange it, just make sure.
No, I guess I would have been more likely to put more money aside. That's all. I guess is my point. Because instead of just putting everything, like, because when I was
seem like a spendthrift.
No, well, he is. He's very materialistic. Oh, yeah, he's very materialistic.
Oh, my goodness. Phil, you're in trouble, man.
Yeah, he's very materialistic kind of guy. It's very frustrating because I'm more about experiences. He's more about, having things. So,
Yeah, sure.
So we're actually going to get, this summer, we're going to get a big 40-yard dumpster to just throw stuff out. Because, I'm sick of all the garbage, and it's making me crazy. And then I told you my kid's moving out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're going to be empty nesters. I don't know what to do with myself. Maybe somebody can give me some ideas.
You get a pool table and put it in her room?
A pool table? No, I don't shoot pool. What the hell do I care?
No, you put the pool. Do you know why you put a pool table in the kid's room?
So they can't move back in.
They can't move back in.
So.
Yeah, hey, look, Dad and I learned pool. We have a great time. Watch me hit this ball. Boom, off the table. Yeah, but we're still learning. But hey, But there's no bed in here, so I don't know where you're going to sleep tonight if you just think you want to move back in.
Yeah, no, whatever. We'll deal with that when it comes to it. So, but no, it's just as funny.
So that's the pool table definitely works.
All right.
Okay, so let's get back to this because before we got into Ed, we talked about land flipping. So you started doing land flipping. You probably pretty much started doing it about 6 months ago.
February.
Oh, wow.
February. I started in February. Okay. Wow. I gave myself a year. I gave myself till next February before I quit, and I'm determined to just get this going.
Right. So we had somebody named Frank come to Investor Schooling, gave a special presentation. So every once in a while, I don't present, and every once in a while, Debbie doesn't present, and those are my favorite nights because those are nights I'm not here. No, they're not my favorite nights.
Every time I present, you're not here, so you never see me present.
No, I've seen you present.
On occasion, but usually at the school, you're not here when I present.
No, that's why, because I'm not here, so you present. You're not here, I present. We're both not here, or whatever. Frank present, or somebody else. We have special speakers. Yeah. So Frank came and he was talking about land flipping. It's not something I do, and it's not something that I want to do. But you really enjoyed the presentation, and you started talking to Frank.
So there's a little bit more background to it that you just don't know. So I learned a little bit about it a couple years ago, and I just didn't really pursue it very hard because the place that I kind of learned it from a little bit, there was nobody to help me, right? So if I had a question, there was no one to go to ask any of those questions. So I looked at it for like a month or two, and then I was just like, this isn't for me. So that was a few years ago before I ever met you. And then Frank came in to speak. He came in to speak at the end of last year. And I'm watching him like, I know I can do this. I need to do this.
Of course you can do it.
And then, whatever. And then I let the whole thing go. And then he came to, again, I think in January or February, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to do this. This is ridiculous. So then after he presented, I went up to him and I said, hey, Frank, would you be willing to mentor me on how to do this? So that's kind of a little bit more of a background that you don't know all of everything about.
Okay, good.
So
now you've got 2 deals on the contract. Is that right?
So technically, yes. Yes. So one I'm closing on Tuesday.
Right, and you're actually buying that piece of property.
I'm buying that piece of property.
And then you intend to sell it.
And I intend to sell it. So I'm buying it. So the property I'm buying for $50,000, and I think I want to say it's like $1,600 or $1,800 in closing costs and lawyer fees because it's a lawyer state. So it's an attorney state. So they get their cut. That's how that works. And then we already have the real estate agent in line, and he is going to sell it. So the next day it's going to go up on the market. He writes the ads. He takes the pictures. So this is Frank's guy that he's been working with, and he's already set to do it. He gets his commission, so he's going to list it for 75 with the goal of selling it for 70.
Okay.
So so it'll be a nice little deal.
Yeah, you'll make a couple of bucks.
Yeah, make a couple bucks.
So then you've got so tell me what you're doing with this. So how are you getting leads?
So what I do is I go to Priced. You ever hear of that? Priced, Prycd. I'm not proposing. I'm just saying that's just where I go.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
So Priced is where I can get a list of people who own land, and I can pick up 0 to 1 acre, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, whatever. So I go and I get the list, and once I get the list, I go and I get it skip traced. So once I have it skip traced, I load it into a program, and I get
just so skip traced. So you guys don't know, it's somebody looks up the actual phone numbers to make sure that they're accurate. And gives her now a list with phone numbers. Go ahead.
Right. So I'll give them the parcel ID number, and they'll go to the county and they'll find out I'll get the name of that person. So I'll use the name of that person and find out what their information is. Like, where do they live? What's their phone number? And I can get like contacts of relatives and that. So I get all the skip trace lists, and then I upload it into this program, and then I send out texts. So I can send out up to 600 texts a day. Okay. So I usually do 2 states, 2 counties, right? So so I was working in Utah and I was working in Virginia, and I had 2 counties for each of them. So, what's the matter?
No, my phone was doing weird things. That's all. Sorry.
Okay. So yeah, was sending out 300 for one county and then 300 for another county, and then the leads kind of come in. Well, what's nice about text as opposed to sending out mailers is I get responses like in 10 minutes.
Sure.
I get responses right away.
Sure.
So I get the responses of, no, I'm not interested. I get the responses that are not very nice. And then I got the responses that are, give me an offer. And I have a couple responses that say, sure. And then some people just call me flat out, and then I have a special phone number. So they start calling me right away. And then I start asking them questions like, are there utilities there? Is it near a road? Do you have access to it? How many acres? Who owns it? Why are you selling? Just same kind of questions that you ask for anything else. And then I go from there. So if they're interested, and I'll give them a range offer, or I'll give them and then I'll go back and do some due diligence, and I'll give them an offer. And if they accept it, then I'll send them paperwork so that they can sign. So
very cool.
And once they get the paperwork, then I start doing like the real due diligence, like paid due diligence, can you build on it? All that kind of stuff. And then we go from there. And then if everything goes good, then I get aerial shots of the place. I have this one place in Utah I got drone pics of, and the guy did a fantastic job, like really, really nice pictures. And then I build the ad, and then I try to sell it.
So this is pretty cool. So you're buying land, and then you try to resell it. And then, so this is just, it's an ongoing process. You're buying, you're selling, you're buying, you're selling.
Yeah.
Very cool. I think it's awesome. I've noticed that you're really into it. So one of the things that we talked about in the past is, if you're really into something, if you're really doing it, you eventually are going to become very good at it. And that's what you're doing. You're becoming very good at it.
I'm still learning. So I always say that. I'm still learning.
Well, you've been doing it for 3 or 4 months, 2-3 months, whatever.
2 months, yeah. So I'm still learning.
Of course you're not perfect at it yet.
Yeah, so I'm definitely still learning. But I'm learning a lot. I mean, I've been figuring out that some states are not so great. I'm figuring out that some people respond or not so nice.
Real estate agents aren't that great? I'm
learning that some real estate agents are really hard to get some good ones who actually respond to you and actually are interested in getting business, So that's, I don't understand that one. But,
I do. I've hung around real estate agents. I understand it.
I think the one time I reached out to 30 different real estate agents, and like none of them got back to me. It was just like, what is wrong with these people? Like, don't you want to, don't you make money on commission? You know, and the commission for land is closer to 7 or 10% that they get. So it's just like, you know, it's not 3.5%.
And what do they have to do? They have to list it and wait for a phone call.
They have to list it and wait for a phone call. Like, really? You know, if you're selling a piece of land for 60 grand or 80 grand, you're getting 10%. You know, that's a fast $8 grand for you.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So I don't understand that part.
I don't understand real estate agents at all.
So I have determined.
Most of them think they have a job and they don't. They have a business and they don't know how to do it. That's why they don't make any money.
So I'm determined to. I was telling Frank, I'm determined to do this for at least a year till next February. So if I screw up in the next year and don't get anything, then I'll give it up at next February. But I'm determined.
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean,
I don't think
you
so
already
either.
got 2 deals on the contract in just a couple of months. I think you're going to be great at it.
Yeah, I hope so. Like that. The goal is to. So that's the goal. So the goal is to replace my medical writing business with full-time real estate. That's
That'd be cool.
That's my goal. That's my goal.
I think you should keep your medical writing business.
Well, I'll probably keep like it on the side. I don't think I'll quit it completely and just not take on big projects. I'll do like I'm covering a couple conferences. You know, I'll cover the conference or I'll do some trainings and you know. You'd be proud of me. I'm doing a training at the end of May. So a friend of mine called me up and said, do a 2-day training. So the 2-day trainings I like to do. The 2-hour classes, not so much.
No, you like doing a 2-hour class. You just when you were in a funk and you didn't want to do it for a while. But then we saw you do it on stage in Tampa.
Yeah.
So Deb and I went to Tampa. Well, you know, we had this event that we called Money Game Live in Tampa, and Deb was on stage, and Deb was phenomenal. Everybody was like, "Wow, that was great," and they all said I was great too. So you know. I think I might have had a lot to do with the atmosphere because it was a really nice atmosphere.
It was fun, actually. It was fun to go up, and there's a lot of good people there, and it was a good vibe there, and everybody was happy to be there, and it was, you know, maybe you're right. You know, maybe you're right.
Right.
You know, it was the vibe, but I don't know, it was fun.
So you know what we're going to take a break, and then when we come back from the break, I want to talk about the stock market.
The stock market. I was just talking to a friend of mine about that yesterday, and she's freaking out. Yeah, and I'm like, it'll come back. Relax.
Is she a Democrat?
She's a Republican.
Oh, okay.
She's a Republican, but she's very
negative. Trump and the stock market too. All right. So what we do is go to commercial, but I want you to write this number down, or I want you to start dialing now: 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. And the reason is I want you to call and I want you to ask me questions about the stocks you have, what your panic is over what just happened, and what do you think it's going to be. We'll see you in a couple minutes. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling.
You are clear.
I think you're going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorsschooling.com.
Boost.
I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. Okay. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorsschooling.com right now. Oh, my goodness. This Thursday, investorsschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Listen, you need to take a complimentary class this Thursday. You need to learn how to invest in real estate. You need to learn how to invest in the stock market. You need to learn how to invest in stock options. And you need to learn how to make more money than you've ever made before. Why aren't you here?
So where is
Come to investorschooling.com. He'll be here. Take a complimentary class this Thursday and learn. That's investorschooling.com. Take your complimentary class.
Are you trying to say that you're not good enough with Omri not here? Me and Larry just aren't good enough, Glenn?
No.
Just be careful, though, Glenn.
Leverage the stock
Soon we're not going to have you over for lunch after
make
all.
a lot of money. That's right. We have something that we teach called stock options, and you can make a lot of money.
I was just looking at playing his phone number again. I was like,
stock options. Yep, you got to learn how to do it. So go to investorschooling.com, and you will learn how to do it. Take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I'm going to teach you that and more. investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
How about 30 more seconds, Larry? Do you want more time?
Yeah, okay. Fine. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for
Larry
all
loves
these years.
listening to himself
Now it's time
talk.
for you to hear from one of our great clients.
I got a lot of them now.
Lives up to the promises.
11 of them.
Larry's a great teacher.
He loves listening to
Teaches
himself
about
talk.
the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
I love Charlie.
Come
He's
to
such a
Investor
sweetheart.
Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to
right, we're gonna be
investorschooling.com.
coming back.
We will see you Thursday.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
You're back.
I'm back. Oh, okay. I'm just listening to the music.
Larry's
It
over
sounds
here
so good,
dancing.
right?
Larry's over here dancing.
All right, welcome back to the Larry Steinhouse Show. I am Larry Steinhouse. I'm here with Dr. Deb, and we are talking about real estate. We're talking about the stock market. We're talking about all kinds of cool stuff. And Dr. Deb reminded me something over the commercial. So last week,
Yeah.
it was Sunday, and I get my car. So on Sunday, they repeat this show from 3 to 4,
Right.
which is great. I'm really happy they do that. They repeat the show from 3 to 4. And I get my car, and I don't even think about it. You know, I always got PHT on because, you know, I'm really not into music, and it's really like the only station I listen to is PHT.
Okay.
So I get into the car, and the radio comes on, and I hear this voice, and I'm like, who is this guy? This sounds great. And then a couple of seconds later, I realized it was me. So, yeah, so Dr. Deb is right. I love my voice.
You do.
know, I am definitely, you know,
You love to hear yourself talk.
I guess that would be the true meaning of a narcissist, although people don't understand what a narcissist is. They keep using this thing as narcissists are people who manipulate people. That's a manipulator. A narcissist is just someone who's in love with themselves,
Yeah.
right? So that would be the true meaning of a narcissist. So you know, I
You're
love
just-
myself,
You love yourself.
but everybody should love themselves because everybody should be a narcissist. Everyone should love themselves. No one should not love themselves.
Okay.
If you want to be a manipulator, that's totally different. That's not what a narcissist is. But anyway, I love my voice. I'm so happy that I get to listen to my voice on Sundays afterwards.
Okay.
There's something wrong with me, isn't there?
You know, I have listened to our show. Like sometimes I have listened to it on Facebook, like when I'm doing something, and then I'll put it on just to listen to what we talked about, or something. Sometimes if it's like a really funny show, like I remember when we did that whole Cock show that one time.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, that was hysterical. So I went home because my husband he doesn't usually listen. So I went home. I said, we had this like, you know, whole funny skit on the whole Cock thing. So I played it for him, and we were both laughing at home.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll listen in, or sometimes if I'm not here, I'll listen to you guys to see, you know, if you're talking about me.
Sure.
Well, you know, I'm not here.
Oh, we always talk about it.
I know. So I always have to hear what you have to say. So lots of times I'll listen in.
And you know, and look, and I like the show. Actually, it's not a bad show.
No, it's not.
You know, we get a lot of people saying how great it is. All right, now that we're done complimenting ourselves, because nobody wants to call in and tell us. Listen, call in and tell us how great the show is. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. No one's calling and asking me questions about the stock market.
It's because Omri's not saying the phone number. So maybe we should have Omri do the phone number.
Have Omri say the phone number.
There we go. Let's do Omri do the phone number. Glenn? Glenn, are you there?
I was taking a call. You want Omri?
Oh, no. Go ahead.
We'll do the call. We'll do the call
Yeah, take
first.
the call and then play the phone number from Omri.
Hang on.
All right.
It's like,
Whatever he's doing.
oh, okay.
I was taking a caller's info.
855-939-1137. Call us at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939.
You got Bill in Philly when you.
All right.
I won't stop. That's 855-939-1137.
See, it wasn't funny the second time around.
I know. It just wasn't as funny.
It wasn't as funny.
All right. What's going on, Bill? What do you got, man?
How you doing?
All right.
First of all, big fan. Here's my situation. I bought a house for $135 in 2018.
Okay.
I lived there a couple years, but the employment I have, I get a free apartment where I work.
Nice.
So I like to live where I work. So I got a very good tenant, pays the first of every month. They're clean. They keep the place nice. I make $300 surplus versus the mortgage versus what I get in rent. So I'm just wondering, it seems like I should just keep it like it is, but should I think of selling it or just keep it? I don't really have a need for it, but I'm...
Well, look, here's the deal, right? If you make it $300 and the property's paying for itself, and every month you make a payment, you owe less and less to the bank, so your equity goes up, and now property values are going up. And even if they go down a little, who cares? As long as you're making $300. How long have you been making $300 extra?
For like 3 years.
So you haven't raised the rent yet, then, huh?
No, I don't want to because I have a really good tenant. There's a young couple. They just had a baby. The baby was born in the house. I don't have a need for the money.
Well,
so
you
could
could raise the rent $100, and they would pay it.
I could raise it $300 actually, but yeah,
and they would pay it. So it's up to you. You know, one of the best things about owning rental property is that you get a raise. You can write yourself a raise.
So we're trying.
Well, maybe I don't know if they. Okay, I hear what you're saying, though. But it's safe. I should just keep what I'm doing. And is there anything that I should do to make it better, or?
Buy
I know
more.
it's a generalized question, but
buy more.
Excuse me.
Buy more.
I'm sorry.
Buy more properties. That's what you can do to make them better.
Well, you see, I had really good credit, but I refinanced my credit cards, and now my credit score is in the dump until I finish paying them. So
first of all, one thing has nothing to do with the other. You could buy properties all day long without any money, without any credit. So that has nothing to do with it. Come to me. I'll teach you how to buy properties with absolutely no money.
Okay, where is your? Okay.
Go to invest.
Good meeting. Where is your school?
Go to investorschooling.com. We're right here in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, right off the Newtown bypass. Go to investorschooling.com. Sign up for class. You could be here this Thursday, and I'll teach you something. That's what I do. I teach money. I teach real estate. I teach the stock market. I teach a whole bunch of great ways to make money. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to be a serious real estate investor, and a serious real estate investor could be 5 properties, 10 properties. If you want to replace your income, you definitely want to do this.
Yeah, I don't know. I won't always be as lucky with the tenants, and I do property management, and I know all the things about it. And I don't know if I want to have to deal with that with 4 or 5 people.
Well, there's no such thing.
With the one I have.
There's no such thing as bad tenants. There's only bad landlords.
Well, that's me. I'm that's probably me. But
well, I'll teach you how to be a good landlord.
Okay. All right, I'll bite, Mr. Steinhouse.
Listen, I'm going to give you information for free. Come take it. What do you got? What do you got to lose, right?
I know. You're right. I
mean, I always find it's so funny. It's like, well, what does it cost me to come to your school? It's free. How much does it cost to come, though? It's free. How much does it come to cost? It's free. So come to class. It's free, and you'll take a class, and we'll invite you back to another class, to a Monday night mastermind, and then at that point, we'll talk to you about becoming a student. If you want to do it, you do it. If you don't, who cares? You learn something for
free. Learn something for free.
You learn something for free.
And I'm going to throw it out there that I am buying a house, and I have used none of my own money, and I'll be getting a check of around $55,000 back at closing.
There you go. That's awesome.
That's coming up in the next couple.
I guess you taught her how to do that.
I always thought my credit score, because I had up to like the high 7s, and then when I redid my debt, bang, it's down to like 560.
Well, if your credit score is down to 550, there's something else wrong. If your credit score is less than 600, there's something else wrong. But I can look at that for you too. No big deal. And who cares?
Yeah,
you don't need your credit score anyway.
All right. Well, can I ask one question about that credit score?
You can.
Why would you say something else is wrong? Because maybe there's something I'm missing. It was like in the high 7s for years.
Yeah.
And then once I ran my credit card debt up, and I went to redo it, and bang, it went down to like less than 550. It's just it's building back up again now.
So do you have a Credit Karma account?
Excuse me?
Do you have a Credit Karma account? You know that company called Credit Karma?
No, I don't know.
All right. So go to creditkarma.com, open an account, and at least you'll be able to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Because it's a very valuable tool that they give you for how much?
For free.
For free.
You
just don't like. Mike just doesn't like.
So I have a question actually. Did you use one of those programs that help you reduce your debt?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't want to say a name, but yeah, they were pooling my money and not.
That's why. That's why.
Went to credit counseling.
That's why, because for them,
I thought he said he refinanced it.
Yes, but for them to do that, they don't. They tell you to not pay for like the first month, which is like their fee or something like that.
The worst thing you could ever do,
and then they lower
the interest rates.
But
that's what I did. I thought it was
Yeah.
They gave it sounded really good, and I was giving them like $900 a month. I owed like $38,000 total.
Oh yeah, that's a
And
mistake.
I was
That's-
paying $900 a month, but
Yeah, I
they weren't paying
misunderstood.
everybody.
That's why, because I did it years ago and it killed my credit.
Oh,
And,
man.
yeah, so I didn't know that at the time. So yeah,
I
that's
thought
what's
you
not
said you
good about them.
refinanced it. I didn't realize you did one of those companies. So these companies, just anybody listening.
I'm glad I answered the question. I definitely you can answer. I'm going to try to come to the class.
Yeah,
and
come anyway.
Try to
Come
make
anyway,
time.
yeah.
Come anyway. But here's the thing, Mike. Just and everybody else listening. Like, if you're in a lot of credit card debt and you're in trouble, right? And you're not paying it on time anyway, don't go to one of these credit companies, because I'm going to tell you right now, honestly, if you stop paying your credit cards and go bankrupt, you'll recover faster than you will with one of these credit card company counseling thing, whatever they call them.
Yeah,
So
so
just
debit
understand.
counseling
And, you know,
services
by the
or
way,
credit
nothing's
counseling.
ever
What are you trying to say?
absolute, right? Nothing's ever absolute. So yeah, just remember, whenever you give advice, just understand that there are exceptions to all sides.
Yeah.
So just know, but I would never have you do. You're better off going bankrupt than you are going to one of those companies.
Yeah.
All right, man. We appreciate the call. Let's go over to. We'll see you in class. Let's go over to Harry. What's going on, Harry?
Hey, Larry, how you doing?
Good, man. What's happening?
Okay, here's I got a two-part question and two different questions.
All right.
First question is, I know that, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I know that if I sell a property and then buy another property, any capital gains on the first sale can be passed over to the second property. That's my understanding. Is that correct?
Yes and no. You have to go through what's called a 1031 exchange. You have to do what's called a 1031 exchange, and you have to go through a 1031 exchange company to do that for you. So basically what happens is you're taking property A, and let's say you sell it for $200,000,
Yes.
and at the closing, the 1031 exchange, the custodian company takes the $200,000. You don't get it. And then that $200,000 is now used to buy another property. So as long as you do it that way, the IRS says, "Hey, it's still the original investment. It's just a different vehicle inside the original investment."
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's reverse that. Let's say I buy a property in another state, and it takes me a year or two to sell my house, and to pass that over. Is that a possibility?
No.
Or
No.
how
But
do
the
I
other
do
thing,
that?
when you said my house, do you mean the house you're living in?
Yes, the house I'm living in now.
No.
All right. So wait a minute. Hold. First of all, the house you're living in now. How much is
Yes.
the house you're living in now worth?
900,
How much did you pay for it?
$750.
Okay. So are you married?
Yes.
Okay, so I got really good news for you. So first of all, even if you weren't married, it wouldn't be a problem, because if you're single, you have a $250,000 exclusion. So it means that if you're single and you buy a property and it goes up $250,000, and you
Right.
sell it for $250,000 more, and that's your
Right.
after your cost basis. Which, by the way, if you put anything into that
Right.
property, it probably raised your cost basis, so you probably didn't make some $250. But even if you made to $250, the first $250 is excluded on a single person.
Now that's a once in a lifetime exclusion, correct?
I think it's per property. I'm not sure. I
Oh,
believe
is
it's
it?
per
Okay.
property.
I thought
done
it
it
was
before?
once per lifetime, but that's
I'll have to look. I honestly.
no. I ran into that with my parents' house.
Well, if your parents' house were your parents, that's not you.
No, but it went to an estate, and then
Okay, right.
one thing led to another, and it said the same thing.
Yeah, okay, we could have been able to work with that. But on top of that, you have a $500,000 exclusion if you're married. So you are fine. You don't have to know about it at all.
Okay. Okay. Now, if I buy a property and I pay, it's bought and paid for down in another state, then a year or two later, I sell the original property I have in Pennsylvania, as an example. Can I pass any capital gains that way, or it's still that $250
you don't have a capital
covers
gains
me?
problem. You think you have a problem. You don't have one. You're fine.
Okay.
And what you might want to do, if you put that property up for sale, the one you want to live in, and then you buy the new one, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're fine. You have nothing to worry about.
I follow you, because I'm using the $250 to cover the existing property as opposed to the new property.
It's not even about the $250. It's about the fact that you have the exclusion and you're buying another property to live in. It's fine. You are all good. You have nothing to worry about. Cool. You need to, what you need to do now is you need to buy investment properties.
Right. Now, if I buy an investment property and I depreciate it over X number of years. And then I move in to live in it, and I live in it for 2 years. Do I now get to eliminate that depreciation, and it's just
it's not
a
eliminating
sale of a
depreciation.
residence?
So you're confusing a whole bunch of things together. So here's what's happening, right? You're getting advice from broke people.
Okay.
I can tell.
Okay.
And all these broke people. Yeah, I watched some YouTube video on this, and I didn't understand it when I read it, when I saw it, but I'm going to explain it to you the best I can, and then you're getting it, and you're getting it all confused too. So the 2 year 2 year thing is about, it's not about depreciation, it's about whether your capital gains is. So if you buy a property and it's an investment property and you rent it out for 10 years and you make I don't know, you have a $200,000 capital gains like we talked about before. If you lived in the property for 2 of the last 5 years, then it becomes a personal residence and you're not paying capital gains.
Okay, so but the depreciation would come into the fact that would lower my cost basis every year,
right?
And then I'm looking at what's the capital gains at the end of the line.
Right, depreciation has nothing to do with it. So depreciation will just lower your cost basis, which will could raise your capital gains tax. Like even the house you're in right now, the one you're going to you're going to sell it, you're living in, you probably depreciate it, but it's you have a $500,000 exclusion because you're married. You're not even going to come close.
Yes.
Unless you've been living there for 30 years.
Now, this is a separate question, and I know you deal a lot with this stuff, so I'm just looking for your insight. Sure. Escrow accounts. An escrow account that's created and held in one state, and you live in a different state. If that escrow account does something untoward, and they come under investigation and everything, and how do you get your money back, or is there a bank involved, and is the bank responsible for monitoring what that escrow account does?
I have no idea what you're talking about when you say an escrow account.
Okay. I got a stepdaughter, and I've bankrolled a surrogate situation for her. So she put money into an escrow account as required by the fertilization group, and that escrow account now is gone belly up, or they don't really know. It's under federal investigation. I want to know whether there's a bank involved and if there's rules federally or state that I can check into to see if there's some litigation against the bank, or I just have to wait till the Fed thing plays out, whatever.
So here's what I'm going to guess the scenario is, and because everything you're saying is kind of jointed. What's the word I'm looking for?
Jumbled up.
Jumbled up. That's good. Okay. I know. Yeah.
Convoluted.
I'm on the radio and I don't know words. I mean that's how bright I am. It's just stuff with all this financial stuff. But
that's all right.
It sounds like your daughter was having trouble having a baby, correct?
Correct.
And she went to a fertility company to try to have the baby, yes? And they wanted money up front because these things are usually expensive, usually like $50,000, and they wanted money up front in escrow, and they were going to take chunks of that money out of the escrow account every time they did something because they wanted to make sure that you had the money to afford this, correct?
Okay.
Yeah, right now I think you're nailing it.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So the escrow account, that wherever the escrow account was being held
yes,
it was in a bank, there's no doubt. But the question is whether, and I don't know if you were joint on the escrow account or if they had an account and they had your money in it. Okay, so it wasn't. So the odds are you're never going to see this money again if they went belly up.
Wow.
They probably took the money out and ran away with it.
No, it's a little less than that because the person that was running the escrow account, I think, was using the money to invest in properties and then try to spin them off.
So it's fraud. So the guy's going to jail.
Yeah.
So the guy's going to jail, but
right.
But you're not going to get your money.
If he already spent it,
there's no way to hold the bank liable.
No, the bank has nothing to do with it because the bank didn't know it was your money. They knew they had an escrow account, but that's it. So it's unfortunate.
Oh, okay.
I mean, look, you could try to sue the company, and you'll probably win, but you'll never collect. So I'm sorry to hear that.
I follow you.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, but it is what it is. All right, hey man, come into investor schooling and learn some more.
All right, you sounds like it's a good idea.
All right, go to investorschooling.com, and hopefully we'll see you on Thursday. All right, we got Glenn. What's going on, Glenn?
Hey, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Listen, I was listening to your show, and I just realized that you might be able to help me out. You hear a lot about home theft, where somebody takes out a mortgage on my house, for instance. So if that happens, if somebody goes to the bank and takes out a mortgage on my house, isn't that fraud on the bank? And why is it? How am I responsible?
Okay, so you're not. So the first thing you have to understand, right? There's a lot of fraud and identity theft going on if that happened.
Yeah.
So if somebody goes to a bank and says, "I own this house, I own 123 Main Street, and I want a mortgage on it," that person who went to a bank to get a mortgage on it, they have to show their social security number, they have to show their name, they have to show their proof of who they are.
Yeah.
They have to prove their income, and then they have to prove that they own the house, and then the title company has to recheck all that and make sure it's real. So has this happened to you?
No, it hasn't. But you see it advertised on TV all the time.
Okay. What you're seeing is you're seeing a company.
Want to protect.
You're seeing a company who's scaring you. Right. Here's the deal. You're seeing a company who's scaring you into buying their program for whatever it costs, $200 a year, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're scaring you into buying their program. So the only time you could have a serious, I mean, it's just like getting a credit card. That's somebody got a credit card in your name. They used your social security number, got a credit card in your name, and sent it they sent it to their house, and it happens. It's just what you just said, the scenario that you just said is highly unlikely. It's almost impossible for that to happen. But what could happen is somebody could steal your property. They could steal your deed.
Yeah, they could.
Like
steal
somebody
your deed.
could show up with fake ID to sell. So if Debbie's buying a property. I show up. I claim I own 123 Main Street. I give enough proof that it looks like I really own it, even though I don't. So she comes to closing. They transfer money into my account. From the closing, I take the money. I run into another country. And, now the person who really owns 123 Main Street says, "Hey, I don't understand something. How come Debbie's knocking on my door saying I own this house now?" But even that's slim to none for that to happen. It's very difficult for that to happen.
Yeah.
So what's happening, the real scam, is the people who are advertising on TV to sell me a protection plan.
So it's not a scam. It's just something you probably don't need. It's like I'm going to sell you an insurance policy, and I'm going to charge you, $100 a year. Here's the insurance. It has to happen on Friday the 13th during a thunderstorm. Your house has to burn completely down to the ground, and it has to be Friday the 13th on a thunderstorm between 12
So what he's trying to say is the likelihood of it happening is not high.
So,
It's like having a life insurance policy that'll cover me if I'm on an ocean liner.
Yeah, exactly right. Can it happen? Yeah, actually, the odds of you dying in an ocean liner are probably higher than somebody stealing your title.
Well, so if somebody steals the title to my house, what my point is, isn't that fraud between that person and the bank, and I should have no responsibility whatsoever?
Yeah, here's the problem. So what you just said was not the scenario you just gave. So here's what happens. This is happening in Philadelphia a lot, by the way.
Yeah,
where somebody owns a house in Philadelphia and they own it outright. They own nothing on the house. So then what they do is they pretend they're selling it to somebody else, like the scenario I gave you. And a year later, you don't even know that it happened. You've been collecting rent from your tenant all this time. You don't even know that somebody has already stolen your property. And then one day that person says, "Hey, listen, I'm going to get a mortgage on this," because they own the property now. And they get a mortgage on it. And then everything looks legit now. And then they just didn't know that the title that they got was not a real title. Now, hopefully they got title insurance when they transferred it to their name, because they don't own the property. Now, you have title insurance also. Your title insurance is going to help. It's going to protect everybody, but it may be a really big hassle. You're going to get the property back, but it's going to be a really big hassle.
There is a way that, because Philadelphia, because I put my name on there, or my company's name on there, is that because it's been happening a couple times in Philly, that you can notify Philadelphia and say, "Hey, if there's any activity going on with this property specifically, I want to get notified." So because I have my properties on list to get notified.
I could go to the county courthouse and request notification if there's any activity.
I don't know if the regular county courthouse does it. I know Philadelphia specifically does it.
Hey, Glenn, I want to make it real simple.
Don't worry about it.
Don't lose any more sleep over this.
Yeah, I think you're overthinking
It's so not.
Yeah.
It's so not important. It's so unlikely to happen that if you're really worried about it, then go to that company that sells that title thing, whatever the heck it is.
Yeah. So the only reason I did it was because it was kind of becoming a problem in Philadelphia, and I have some properties in Philly. That's the only reason I did it, and the only times I've ever gotten notification on it is when I put a mortgage on there. Right. So I
see, and what concerns me is I just paid off, just got the deed in my name, just paid off my house. I'm a senior citizen. Last thing I want is to have a mortgage problem.
You won't
with this house.
I don't think you're going to have that
steal
problem.
Your property. They can't steal. So you ready for this? I'm even going to teach you that the greatest way to protect your property is with a mortgage.
Get a HELOC or something on it.
Get a HELOC on it. So protect your property. You don't even have to use the HELOC. Protect it.
Yeah.
Because now that HELOC has to be a HELOC,
home equity line of credit.
And this way you can now take money out of your house, like if you need it, by writing a check. But if you don't need it, what will happen is you have a loan in the house or you have a mortgage on the house, and that mortgage company has to be notified in order for somebody to buy your property. So it actually helps.
Okay. Well, you know what? You've absolutely answered my question. And when I see those commercials on TV, I will turn the channel.
Yeah, but now when you listen to the commercial that says go to investorschooling.com, you're supposed to go to investorschooling.com and sign up.
Those marketing you want to listen to.
Now.
Come on. Those are the ones you want to do.
All right.
You heard it right. How many times do you have to hear my voice before you go to investorschooling.com?
Maybe a couple more Saturdays, brother.
Man, listen to this guy.
You know,
he's one of those skeptical, stubborn people.
It's interesting because a lot of people who come into the school hear us on the radio, and sometimes they'll say, "Oh, we've been listening to you for like a year," and it's like, well, "Why did it take you so long to come in?"
How long you been listening? Glenn?
I don't off and on. I travel a lot, and I was listening today when I was doing some errands. But let me tell you why I won't get into investing in anything anymore. I'm retired.
So what?
I'm happy, and I have cash inflow.
All right. Well,
and I don't need to be bothered working.
Well, I don't need you to work either. I'm going to teach you how to make more money on your money. How's that? I'm going to teach you how to make more money on your money, and I promise you I will teach you that. But anyway, all you got to do is go to investorschooling.com. We'll teach you. I got to cut you off because we're actually running out of time for this segment, but I appreciate the call, and don't worry about your house anymore. All right, so yeah, it happens. Yeah, people, they get scared because they hear commercials, right?
Well, it makes me think of, because sometimes I get lost.
If you're going to get into anything, we got 30 seconds.
All right, go do your thing,
that's
and
exactly.
that's fine.
I want to thank you, Dr. Deb, for being here, even though I had to cut you off. And Omri was not here. Hopefully, Omri will be here for the next show, no problem. And I want to thank all the listeners. I want to thank everybody for watching on YouTube and video and Facebook and LinkedIn and blah, blah, blah. Of course, I want to thank the sweet Glenn Page for taking the phone calls, all the callers.
Better.
And you guys, better. And you guys go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class. That's investorschooling.com. And we better see you on Thursday. Take care.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed.
All right. Thank you, Glenn.
See if Omri's coming. All right, guys. You guys on the radio? You guys are on the radio. On Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. We're going to be starting back up in a couple of minutes. So just hang in there, and you can call in anytime at 855-939-1137 or ask your questions on Facebook. I'd rather you call because it's more fun when you call. He muted us. We're not even listening to the commercials on Facebook right now. So was that a good show?
Who muted us? Who muted us, Glenn?
Yeah. No. He muted the music coming in.
Oh.
So we can't hear it. We can't hear the radio. We can't hear the commercials.
Yeah, do you want to hear the radio feed right now?
I don't really care. It's just that, I now have to talk because people on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn are like, they're waiting for silence. So Kimmy was saying that company was called
Title Lock, yeah. Sir, if you need any design anytime, please.
It's not something that I think you need.
Those commercials are scary. Those commercials are scary. Have you ever seen them?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I know exactly.
Nobody thinks I can just walk in and take their house.
Right.
Nobody thinks that.
Right. the fraudsters are doing it, and then they have the guy acting like the fraudster, right?
Mark is so funny.
Mark was enjoying you taking your clothes off, Deb.
It gets so hot in here. Like, it really gets hot in here. So.
It does get hot in here.
It's hot.
A lot of equipment in here, and it gets hot.
Yeah, it gets hot in here. So.
And then Deb makes it even hotter when she comes in with her hair.
There you go. It's drying now. It still looks good, though. Right?
Just show Mark how excited you are. There you go. So, I mean, this is hard. I mean, talking about nothing during the intermission is hard.
It's all good.
All right, 30 seconds.
PDA.
All right.
Looking for
Did
love
you reach out to Omri or no?
Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
You're hot.
The Larry Steinhouse Show.
All right, everybody, good afternoon and welcome back to the Larry Steinhouse Show. We are broadcasting live from Investor Schooling headquarters right here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I am Larry Steinhouse. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling, and I'm here to make financial education fun and accessible to everyone, including you, even you, Debbie. All right. On this show, we discuss several ways of making more money. We concentrate on real estate investing, stock options trading, the stock market, and how to maximize your retirement funds. And you could call us anytime during the show at
855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137.
Still makes me laugh.
Call us at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. I won't stop. That's 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137.
So it's just not as good if he's not here. I mean,
it's not as good if he's
and
not
it might
here.
be the same to the people on the radio, but watching him do it is funnier than just listening to it.
Yeah, I think you know what it is. It's because I remember him doing this one,
right.
and the last time he was holding the mic. He was holding the mic, and he was so excited, and he was doing very sexual things to it. It was hysterical.
Yes, it was very interesting.
And that's why I think I keep laughing, because it's so funny.
So you can call that number, 855-939-1137, and you can call us about questions about money, finances, real estate, anything on your mind, even politics, and especially the stock market. I can't believe that nobody's calling about the stock market. We're also live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, and please leave us a comment and say hello so we know you're watching. Hey, I'm here with my awesome co-host, Dr. Deb Anderson. Omri is still not here. He might pop in the middle of the show. I know he's busy this afternoon. And, of course, we have our sweet producer. I'm getting better. Glenn Page, ready to take your calls and put you on to discuss anything like finances. Come on, let's go. So Glenn will take your call at 855-939-1137. The Larry Steinhouse Show is brought to you by Investor Schooling. At Investor Schooling, we teach you things about money I'll bet you never knew. We focus on practical learning, and we will equip you with real-world skills in real estate investing, stock options, tax-saving tips, and the secrets of financial freedom. Our headquarters are right here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, but our online courses teach eager investors all over the country. So you can RSVP for a free class this Thursday at investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. So, Deb,
Larry,
I don't know.
You know what somebody asked me yesterday? They said,
boy.
I was talking to a friend of mine who's a Republican, and she was asking me about the stock market, which was interesting. And I kept telling her not to panic because she keeps telling me she's scared. And I said, you know what? It was a great buying opportunity. I bought a bunch of stuff with your help the other day.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're still at Investor Schooling? You're still with Larry? I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. How many years has it been now? I'm like, I don't know, 4.5, 5 years, something like that. And she's like, you're still there. And I'm like, yeah, but I get the benefits of having to talk to you when I need help. Because you said, you'd even help me when I need help.
Yeah, of course.
And I think one of the the benefits of one of the reasons I stay is because I'm constantly calling you up for something and saying, hey, what do I do here? So it's just, I think it's interesting. So.
And that's what it's all about. That's what, I mean, we become family, you know?
Yeah.
The students who stick around for a long time become family.
Yeah.
You know, Omri became family. You became family, right? You know, we have other people who become family, whose students that show up almost all the time.
Yeah.
And they're family, and anything that they need, you know, we're there for them.
Yeah.
And it's really neat. It's a very different atmosphere than anything you probably ever experienced. You guys have to come.
I think, you know, it's interesting because we got a new student the other day, and I know he was really nervous about it. And then we came on Thursday. There's always a handful of people who always stay, and then we have to turn off the lights after an hour. It's like go home because we want to go home.
Right.
You know, and it's funny, but it's like people just kind of hang out because they're just having fun chit-chatting about whatever it is that they're chit-chatting about.
Yeah, sure.
So it does. It's like a really, you know, people just kind of come to hang out because they like the atmosphere. I always say that you walk into the room, you get like a whoosh of energy because
yeah,
that's, you know, you really do, because everybody's just excited to be there. Everybody's like-minded. Everybody just has fun, and they're learning new things, you know, and this new student was a little worried, and I think he was finally starting to relax on Thursday, which was great to see.
He gets what everybody else, if they come in for the first time and like, what the heck is he talking about? What's Larry talking about? He's talking about the stock market.
Yeah.
I know this has something to do with the stock market.
Yeah.
But the interesting part is like they think that they need to know everything, and they don't realize that they're sitting next to a student who doesn't know what they don't know either.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a little while. You know, you start to get it. You remember, you know, most likely, especially with the stock market, most likely you've never experienced the stock market before. You never even understood how it worked.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you just know that people make money and lose money, and you're not part of it.
Yeah.
So you want to become part of it. So you can't learn it in one night. You probably can't learn it in a month. It's going to take a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months.
I know, but I think that's where people get frustrated, or not frustrated. They just don't know, is because they're like, well, you know, I'm listening to you talk as stock option consultant, or I'm listening to you talk about steak and tuna, and they're like, what the heck are you talking about? You know, and we say that all the time. You have to hear it a couple times before it finally clicks in. Because I know when I did it, it took like 5 or 6 weeks. When I first started going to the Monday Mastermind as a student, it took me like 5 weeks, and I'm like, oh my God, I got it. I remember when it finally clicked in, you know, so it was just kind of funny.
People that they don't understand, you're not coming. So anybody who comes to investorschooling.com and signs up for a Thursday night class, some people expect a sales pitch. They're like, okay, tell me what you got. I'm like, no, you don't understand. You can't buy anything tonight.
Yeah.
We're not even going to, Army's here. We're not even going to let you sign up tonight because we don't want you to. We want you to understand. We want you to show you what you're going to get.
Yeah.
We want you to come to the mastermind. We want you to learn more. And then we're going to talk to you about becoming a student, because until you've experienced the class, until you've experienced the mastermind, we don't want you there.
Yeah.
There's no...
Not that we don't want you there. We just want you to experience what we have to offer.
That you know that it's going to be everything that you want.
Yeah.
And you know, and you got to understand that you're coming into an actual class. There's no sales pitch. Yeah. You're coming into a class that people have paid for. So people in the room, almost everybody in the room is a student.
Yeah.
And that's why, look, you know, we got Kimmy online. She goes, I love becoming a student. She's made lots of friends.
Yeah.
And by the way, and Mark says, you know, what's the family rate? So Mark, if you show up on Thursday, I'll give you the family rate. How's that? It's the same rate as everybody else who shows up on Thursday. It's
free.
There you go.
It's free.
So show up.
It's free.
So go to Investor Schooling and show up. Omri, you want to come in? Come on in.
Omri's over here on the sidelines.
Omri, we knew Omri was going to be a little late today, and that's okay. So come on in, Omri. He was in the green room.
Is that the green room?
Well, it's sort of the green room. It's kind of the
green
engineering room.
One, right? Isn't this the green
kind of the engineering room.
All right.
Well, we'll let him get settled. We'll let him put his headset on.
Omri's here.
Let him get the microphone on.
What are you looking at?
Hopefully his mic's set up well. If not, Glenn will let me know. The mic needs to be set up better.
What are you looking at? What's the...
What are we looking at? We're looking at you.
There is a screen with a property on it.
So, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
So that's the property. Maybe the property we're going to see, maybe not. But here's the deal. Nobody heard the phone number yet.
Oh, my God. How many calls you got?
We actually had a couple
calls.
Not this one, but
so
the last
session
call. We had a couple.
That's 855-939.
Oh, it's so much better in person.
37. 855-939-1137.
I'm telling you, I think his microphone's low. What do you think? What do you think? Is his mic low?
1137.
A hair.
Yeah, I could tell by the meters his mic was low.
855. you miss me?
I always miss you, Omri.
Oh wait! We gotta get.
That's 855-939-1137.
Oh my! Oh my! They missed the hug. The screen missed the hug because I was changing the cameras.
See that? I gave him a kiss. I gave him a hug. Everything. And Omri came over and was on my mic.
So please call us at 855-939-1137. I heard the subject from the technician room a bit, and I can't believe people still tied up to the fact that why would they come without knowing how much it costs? Who cares? It's free.
It's free. I know. Exactly.
Come and take what you can.
He's hot. He's hot.
He's hot.
He's
now.
hot
I know.
now.
My wife said the same.
Yeah, because he started talking louder now.
Maybe I moved it. I don't know. Okay, now I'm fixed.
You're
okay,
fixed.
now you're fixed?
Now I'm fixed.
You can't have kids anymore?
I didn't know that's the term for a person who can't have kids.
No.
It is,
fixed
actually.
is it like a dog. You fix a dog so they can't have kids?
Yeah.
It's what males do. The zip ties around your testicles.
No, that's castration.
Castration.
That's a little bit different.
Okay.
That's not as fun.
No, it's not. No. So I'm not sure. I'm not. Maybe
Sounds
it's
like a kink.
No. It's a fetish. Yeah. So
Just said a kick.
Zip tie.
you ruin it. You see now everybody know I'm the problem, not Debbie.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So we actually started something in the meeting yesterday.
Okay.
We're writing down Omri quotes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because Omri quotes are hysterical.
Yeah.
Some of them were just the funniest.
What
things.
was it? I don't even remember.
I don't remember either. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we could say it on the air. That's how.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't say it.
Sometimes Omri quotes is like so
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Kimmy is so excited you're here. She said hi.
So Kimmy, I will be very excited to see you in the class because I haven't seen you for a very long time.
Yeah, she's coming online. She hasn't been in class.
Yeah.
She's coming online.
So, you see,
So maybe she'll be here Monday.
the successful people are so
So
busy.
check it out. So if you come,
Yeah.
if you come on Thursday
Uh-huh.
and Kimmy comes on Thursday, everybody can meet Kimmy too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
D. Kimmy.
Yeah, and Kimmy's definitely worth meeting. All right,
I
I want to say
agree.
hello to a couple other people online. We got Joe online, we got Eric online, and Sean online. So thank you guys for saying hi. Appreciate you. And anybody else online, just say hi. All right, where were we? We like Omri already derailed us.
We
No,
were
it
talking
didn't.
about how awesome the family part is here at Investor Schooling. That's what we were talking about.
Okay.
And then here we have another piece of our family coming in. So
We
Great.
are fam. We need to do that in the beginning of the show.
We could do that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
instead of
There might
every
be
other
some-
music.
There might be some
yeah, I'm not so sure that's
copyright, so we have to find
I
out.
got all my sister. I got all
Facebook would block it.
call investors with me. We can change
we
the
can make our
words.
own.
Exactly. Right.
Oh, let's make our own. Okay,
Yeah.
we can do that. We can do that.
We
Okay.
can do that. yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kimmy said she'll be here Monday for you.
There you go.
What do you think about people? Because we talked about that this week, and you just talked about people that come and they don't want to come because they are afraid they can afford it.
Right.
What do you think about people that come, afford it, and they don't do anything?
Well, whatever. Everybody. You could lead a horse to water, but you can't drown him.
Exactly.
Can't drown.
It's exactly that. Yeah, that's not the phrase, right?
That's not a
No.
phrase. No, that's not the phrase.
It just makes me laugh because you're right. I mean, look, and here's the other thing: not everything is for everybody.
Agree.
Some of the commercials I'm running right now. We also have people who they don't want to deal with toilets, trash, and tenants. We just had a caller in the last show who talked a little bit about that he didn't want to be a landlord because he was afraid to be a landlord. But we have ways that you can invest in real estate without being a landlord, without any toilet, trash, or tenants.
Yeah.
When the whole world is crooked, you need to look and see that maybe you are the problem. If nothing works for you, I had a discussion with someone in the synagogue. With nothing work for you, not the stock market, not the real estate, nothing works for you. Figure out why. Maybe, just maybe, I'm sorry to say that, but you are the problem.
Sure.
So my mom actually said something to me once, a long time ago. So she's been gone a long time. But one time she said something to me. I remember going home and I'm like, oh, this person's mad at me. This person's mad at me. This person's mad at me. And she looks at me. She goes, if one person's mad at you, okay. If two people are mad at you, you're the problem.
Start to ask questions.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
said
exactly.
that's what she said. Then
I
you're the
agree.
problem. You have to
Yeah.
figure out what's going on because you're the
We're
problem.
both mad at you.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys are always mad at me. What can I
But
say?
Oh, I'm
but,
never mad at you.
but it's true. It's true.
I'm
You're mad
usually
at
mad-
us.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
I'm
I
mad
usually
at
get
you.
mad at Larry, so it's
Really?
usually
We have Rich in Philly calling us.
I know. That's good. Hey, Rich, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
So tell us your
I'm
story.
a long-time listener, honestly. Well, my name's Rich. I'm from Philadelphia. I'm a roofer, and I just got out of jail.
Okay.
I've been listening to you guys for a while now, and I just never had the gall to call up. And I just was sitting in my room listening to the radio, and I wrote the number down, and I said, you know what? I've never had an opportunity to call you because I've been sitting in a cell for so long. I said, let me call. I had a few questions, actually.
So hey, I have a question for you, though, Rich. Okay, and it's interesting because we get this a lot. And I don't know where you were. Maybe you could tell us. You know, I may ask you questions if you don't want to answer them. You don't have to.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
I'm an open book. So
okay, great. So first question. So where were you? Where were you located?
I was in on State Road, Kern Farmhold Correctional Facility, Philadelphia.
Okay. Because it's funny. We get people who call from jail. We get people who write us and say, "Hey, can we get a book?" And so it's kind of interesting. It's just interesting that they're listening to this station in jail. So that's fine.
1210 is huge. 1210 is huge in the prison system. You
Oh,
guys are everything between you guys on the weekend and then coast to coast late at night. You guys are everything to us, to be honest.
All right. So now you're a roofer. Were you a roofer before you went to jail?
Yeah, I got 15 years in the trade.
So great. So what happened that you went to jail? If you don't mind telling us.
I got in an argument with a guy at a property. I offered him a quote, and then he tried to pay me in certain goods that weren't dividends. There was no money. He tried to pay me with something different. We got in an argument. I got in a fist fight. I never should have threw my hands at him. That's what happened.
Okay. All right. So
it was my fault.
So a rage of anger. You couldn't plead it out.
Well, I got out. He was trying to pitch me something.
No.
And I just wasn't having it.
You couldn't plead that. I mean, the guy was that mad at you?
That's not how the system works.
Yeah.
That's not how the system works. I mean, in the end, it all got squashed. Like, they could have gave me like a longer time. You know what I mean? But everything was found out in the end. I only did like a year. But it takes our system so backed up. It takes that long to get a guy in front of a judge.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. But okay. So now your question is how you can get involved in real estate. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, 100%. I've always had my eye on it, and if you know anything about the roofing trade, it's quite lucrative. Most of us don't do the right thing with our money. And I'm 40 years old. I'm just getting out, and I have no problem getting to $1. I normally make money pretty quick. My problem is investing it.
So
I never do the right thing with it. You know what I mean?
I'll give you the first reason to come this Thursday. Okay, the first reason. You will have a room full of investors, and many of them need roofs.
It's for sure.
Because that's what we do.
That's for sure.
We all own real estate. We all need roofs.
Right.
And in your profession,
that's not the reason to join.
I get it.
There's a reason to come. It's not a reason.
Yeah,
to
I get what he's saying. 100%.
Right.
Your network's your net worth, and
exactly.
You've been building for a while now. Like, I mean, honestly, like. I've been listening, and it used to be you by yourself, and now you got a nice little circle of people in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
well, Rich,
that's just proof alone.
Yeah, you need to go to investorschooling.com, sign up for class Thursday. It's free. Just come. We don't judge you.
Okay.
I mean, if you.
Well, I'm in a halfway house, and I'm not allowed to be out until next Thursday. I'll be out next Thursday, though, for sure. Monday's my complete release date.
So do it next week. Yeah, do it next
Thursday. Yeah.
You come when you're ready, man.
Yeah.
Come see me. I'll give you a free book.
Well, honestly, I've been dying to get out there. Like, I've been listening. I've been locked in the cage. It's funny you say you get guys to call. I was always locked in when I was listening. So
we'll be very happy to.
I never really walked the yard with my radio.
Yeah, and come see us. And we're the same people. It's funny. Everybody comes to class like, wow, they do a radio show right in the class.
Yeah, it's the same. Like we don't. It's like whatever. I don't know. We're very non-scripted. It's kind of like whatever happens, kind of happens.
This is
who we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
We hear that a lot. It's funny.
All right, cool.
All right,
excellent,
awesome.
man. We're looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah. All right, looking forward to seeing you guys, too.
You got to take care. Oh,
thank you.
I see my good friend John Jubilee is watching on LinkedIn. Thank you, John. I appreciate you. I miss you. You got to get me to lose another 40 pounds again because I put the 40 pounds back on that you helped me take off. So reach out to me and help me out with that.
Are you still taking those pills thing?
The
injections, maybe?
Yeah. That's keeping me down.
It is?
Yeah, I was at 262. I'm at 242.
That's awesome.
And I still got to lose. I got to lose 20 pounds just to get, feel good. And I want to lose 40 pounds. 200 pounds is where I should be.
Okay.
My stomach still enters the room before me.
It depends. That's the least of the problem. I don't know what about you. For me, when I'm gaining weight, the first thing that affects me is the high blood pressure.
Oh, I have high blood pressure and been there. I've had blood pressure forever.
So it affects me.
Yeah.
I gain a bit weight, just a bit. I'm still good, but just a bit. My high blood pressure is high, and immediately I am tired. I'm exhausted all the time.
I was diagnosed with high blood pressure when I was 18.
Ooh, oh
wow! So I've been on blood pressure pills for a long time, and it was funny. I went on and off, but now now I'm at that age where I'm afraid to not take them. You know what I mean? Like when I was 20s, my 30s, you take high blood pressure, and you're with a woman, and
I was going to say it can
things
affect
just
other
don't
things.
Work, right?
Yeah, it can affect
so
other things.
So I wouldn't take it for a long time, and then then I was like, okay, now I don't need things to work as much as I need my arms and legs to work.
Now I don't need to
have so I don't want to die of a heart attack or have a stroke.
That's funny.
So now I'm taking high blood pressure medication. So you get it.
Is that why things stop working at 60s?
If you're a real estate investor with high blood pressure and you want to lower it down, you can call us at 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. I tell you why I'm saying that, because I believe being a bad landlord, because we know there are only bad landlords, there aren't bad tenants, right? Being bad landlord can affect your blood pressure. I will give you that. If you take it too much in and you get offended and it affects your life, this is where it affects you, and you need to know how to do it.
So what do you think about the stock market?
So before you do this, I just want to say one thing, and then you have the floor. I do want to tell all our listeners that we are putting a book together about responses for landlord tenants. Remember we were talking about this?
Yes, correct.
So because I get most of them, so I have a whole running list of things that respond to. So once we have like a decent amount in there, we're going to put out a book of how do you respond to tenants when they say X. So I just want to throw that out there. So like
Debbie gets a phone call, like a response that says, I don't know. Give me a typical response that you got that was some crazy stuff.
So I got a call from the township that they didn't pay the trash bill.
Right.
Remember? And I'm like,
who?
The tenant didn't pay the trash bill.
The tenant didn't pay the trash bill, but it's in the lease that they have to pay it. Okay. He's like, well, I take my trash out, and I'm like, well, you can't really do that. And then it was like,
right. So then we wrote the response to that, the proper response to that.
Yeah.
So we have that on a couple of things. We have that on quite a few things where certain responses to certain tenants, like the tenant didn't pay the full amount of rent. What do you say? So we're actually keeping track of them.
Yeah. So
it may take a little while. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So I just got another one yesterday that she's $100 short, and I wrote, instead of me saying whatever I'm going to say, I'm like, Larry, how do I respond to this?
Right.
So
Debbie asked me for responses, and I help her with the response so that it
doesn't escalate.
It does both. It's firm and doesn't piss the tenant off.
Yeah.
But if it angers the tenant, but it doesn't make them like, you're a jerk. They realize that they got to pay it.
I found out in the last few years that it's worth it to anger the tenant in the beginning.
Agreed.
When they push the limits.
Right.
And then it's over.
That's right. It's like children.
Then
it's like children.
No,
it's like
children. Listen, I'm a tenant. I won't accept that it's like children. I'm just saying, when people pushing boundaries, which they don't have to push boundaries, you need to make them more firm.
Yep.
You need the line to be more firm.
This morning, I sent out only 2, which is great. Only 2 text messages. I noticed the rent has not been paid, has not been sent this month. Be sure to pay it by the end of today to avoid a $150 late fee.
Okay.
And it's the 5th, and I on the 5th, it's a $150 late fee.
Correct.
So I told them that they have to pay it by today.
Who replied?
One person sent it. They sent it. They said, "Oh no, I forgot." And they sent it within 5 seconds.
Okay.
And the other one says, "I promise it'll be here by the end of the day."
Okay.
And
Awesome.
that's fine. And if not, they got to pay a $150 late fee.
I have a tenant, and this is her first month.
Are they late already?
Now she paid 2 securities, a last and a first when she moved in.
Right.
And I knew she's pushing it. And I tell her, will you be able to pay April? No problem. She said, no problem, no problem. She sent me an email on the 31st that everything will be paid by Friday.
Which was yesterday.
This was yesterday. Yeah, I didn't reach out to her, nothing.
Right.
Yesterday afternoon, she sent me another email with information from her bank account that she haven't received her paycheck yet. There is a problem with the company, whatever, I don't know. and she will pay me. She really tried to avoid the late fee, but she will pay me everything with late fees by Tuesday morning.
Okay. So now, you know what you do. Well, okay, then leave it go.
You don't
let her pay the late fee if she's already agree with it. Let it go.
When you lay the ground rules in the beginning in a firm way,
that's right.
The system works for you right now.
Yeah, and then your response to that is, please do.
Yes.
To avoid any further charges or any legal actions.
I didn't do anything.
Well, the reason you do that is this way she knows that the next email that she sends you with an excuse is not going to be accepted.
I like to say, do you know what happened on the 15th? Do you know what happened on the 15th?
That's what I mean. Now you're pushing it. That's fine.
So you start to talk about the stock. You want to talk about stock market?
Yeah, we actually, we'll do. We continue this for another couple of minutes.
Okay.
So we'll go to commercial and I'll come back in the stock market on the other side. But by the way, if anybody wants to call and ask me questions about the stock market and what I think is going to happen and what I think of Trump's tariffs and all of and if you're a Democrat and you want to scream at me over voting for Trump because of the tariffs, do it. Call
855-939-1137. 855-939-1137.
Yeah.
And we go to commercial.
No, well, we could do that. Okay, go ahead. We're a little early, but we can do that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, I was going to...
This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Listen, I can't tell you everything we do in 30 seconds.
Do you know what's going on outside?
So you need to come to class this Thursday
I will
night.
talk about it now.
And you need to learn and spend some time with us to see how you can make more money than you've ever made before.
So
that's right. We'll teach you ways that you've never even heard of to make money. So go to Investor
You guys did want a commercial, right?
Sign up for this
That's
Thursday
what
night's
he
class.
said. I was pretty
Take
sure
your
he did.
complimentary class this Thursday. That's
what you said.
investorschooling.com. We'll see you there.
Sorry.
This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Did you know that you can buy real estate with absolutely no money out of your pocket? That's right. If you've listened to our show or if you've read my book, Money Hacks, I talk about how to buy real estate with no money out of your pocket. You should come this Thursday night to a complimentary class at Investor Schooling and learn more. Learn how to buy properties with no money. Learn how to make money at closings and learn how to make a monthly income. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. Take your complimentary class this Thursday.
We usually do, but
Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Did you know that there are a lot of altruistic reasons that you should become a real estate investor? That's right. You get to rent houses to really nice people who need houses. And you know what? When there's a housing shortage and you have a house for them, they are so happy. I've actually gotten hugs from tenants. So come to investorschooling.com and you will learn how to be a landlord the right way. That's right. We have a complimentary class this Thursday night. And this way, you can get hugs from your tenants too. Go to investorschooling.com. We'll see you Thursday night at 7 o'clock. This is Larry Steinhouse, and did you know
30
that I
more
buy
seconds, or do
houses
you
in
want more
any
time,
condition?
Larry?
That's
Okay,
right.
go another
I buy
one.
hoarder houses, I buy trashed houses, I buy
We'll be
burnt
back
out
in 1
houses,
minute
or
then.
even houses with bad tenants. If you are a tired landlord, or you inherited a property, or you just have a property you don't want, give me a call at 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the phone and make you a full price offer. That's 855-939-1137. Don't suffer with that property anymore. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this,
we're back
so
in
go
15.
to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants. This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
We are family.
Really?
I got the investors with me. Okay.
Oh, you're bringing us out of commercial? Go ahead.
No, I'm just that's
You
it.
done with the We Are Family now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I want to tell you what happened.
Wait, can I bring
Yeah,
it back?
you should.
All right, thank you. Thank you for letting me run my show. I really appreciate when you do that. This is Larry Steinhouse, and this is the Larry Steinhouse Show.
We're back.
I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Deb, and Omri, known as the Interrupter.
Yes.
And Mark, I put my shirt back on. I was getting a little chilly in
and
here.
Mark got upset because Debbie got dressed again.
Yeah.
You
have to see the feed.
All right, and we're talking about real estate. We're talking about the stock market. We're talking about politics. And if you guys have any questions about what's going on in the stock market or anything else, you could give us a call at
855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. So I don't know if you know what's going on outside.
What's going on outside? Like
outside, I mean,
in a parking lot?
Not in the parking lot. So in Giant, actually, the next crossroad, there are hundreds of people protesting.
Really? Protesting what?
In Newtown, there are few locations. There is craziness protest right now by the Democrats.
What are they protesting?
And so the signs saying dump Trump and things like that, but it's against the government. You should go to you would love to go. I know.
Oh yeah, I'd have a blast.
You should really want to go. And I went next to where my wife works. You know where she works, and they put the elderly people. I'm sorry. The elderly people are outside protesting too.
Really?
Protesting.
Again, the same thing. That bad words about the government, and that's what's going on.
Wow. I have to tell you that I've been watching some of the memes for like on Facebook about the responses to the tariffs from all the leaders of the other countries, and I think it's fantastic. I love it. It's just great. I love it. And I was talking to a friend last night. She's like, "What do you think of all this craziness?" I'm like, "I think it's fantastic. I love it." It's just it makes me very happy. So
the reference to the person who go to Ford and buy a new F-150, I don't get. Oh no, they will pay more. Okay, I get. The reference to the person that won't be able to do their grocery shopping, I get more, but I'm not sure we are there. Because we are still in a position that most of the produce are coming from Mexico, and most of them coming, I think, from Mexico.
I think Canada took all the liquor off their shelves in Canada, all the American liquor.
It's so funny. It's like,
What happened? Explain.
Canada, so the liquor stores in Canada took American liquor off the shelves.
Yeah.
Okay.
To protest American liquor. Who cares?
To protest all the tariffs.
I mean, a couple of liquor companies that are probably upset about that, but who are they hurting?
Who are they hurting?
They're hurting the liquor company and the people who like the liquor.
Yeah, the customers. They're hurting the customers.
Right, and the customer who likes American Kentucky whiskey is going to pay not only more for it, but more for it because they have to buy it on the black market now.
Yeah.
So who are they hurting? Anyway, we got Ken. What's going on, Ken?
Hi, I'd like to mention about what you said about the terrorists. I think it's a good thing, but anything good comes with a little bit of pain and suffering. And through the years, we've been going through pain and suffering.
You mean like
I
marriage?
think that there's going to be a good result.
Larry, you're such a...
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist it.
Such a something.
I'm sorry, Ken, I interrupted you with a really bad joke.
Yes.
So you're saying that pain and suffering is a good thing while we go through the tariffs, right?
I agree. I mean, look at what we went through COVID. I mean, and we're still here.
It's true.
So
COVID was a nightmare, and it was manufactured.
Right. I agree. And these tariffs, granted, a lot of people don't like it, but in the long run, that's what the president, I believe, is looking for is a solution to problems that have been arising for ages.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the benefit of tariffs?
I think that in the short term, we're going to pay more, without a doubt.
What do you think the benefit
is? But in
is?
the long term, I think the benefit is bringing jobs and manufacturing and bringing our country back to where it used to be long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
where,
I think it'll strengthen the country.
People work.
Yeah, so
exactly, and I totally agree with this.
So now here's the thing. So you guys know I'm an ultra MAGA Trump fan, right? But I want to.
Me too.
But I'm also an ultra thinker, and I think about everything that's going on, and I do a lot of thinking. A lot of people ask me questions like, "What do you think of this?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not done processing it yet."
Sorry, I saw the remark from Mark, and it just made me laugh.
Okay, so I know I'm not done processing things is what happens. So it takes me a little while to process things. So what you just said is so correct, except for one problem. All right, so now you've got Trump in office, and he's putting all these tariffs, and the point of the tariffs is to bring manufacturing back to the United States, which is a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Now let's think this out. How long does it take to bring manufacturing back to the United States?
Years.
So that's the only thing I'm concerned about is that if once he's done, is the next person who comes in going to follow him, or is he going to reverse all the stuff?
Exactly the problem.
So that's what I'm concerned about.
I agree with you.
Hey, so now you got a couple
I
of
agree with
companies
that. That's where the pain comes in.
Yep, and it's not, and it's worthless pain is the problem. So now we have Trump doing this, and if the next person comes in, the successor comes in and does not follow the same path, it was done for nothing. So now, there's the 1% chance that Trump could become president again, but not likely going to happen. But J.D. Vance would come in, and J.D.
Not
Vance
likely, no.
Yeah, J.D. Vance is pretty likely to follow what Trump has done because he's a big fan of Trump's now. But the question is, will he continue to follow it, and will he win? So now you've got another thing. Now you've got sitting here and, okay, now let's do the election right now. Let's take the election right now, 4 years from now. And you got all the Republicans who just lost one third of their money, because I know I didn't lose anything, by the way. You don't lose money until you sell. But my account in 4 days was down one third, down 33% in 3 days. And instead of me going, I love Trump, I love Trump, I love Trump, I'm going to just vote for him. I'm like, I love Trump, but is this best for me at the moment?
Yeah.
And that's what's going through some people's heads. So the reason I bring that up is now you're going to have the Republicans who may not vote for the Republican again, and they'd rather have LGBTQR, XW, XYZ, whatever the heck they are, instead of and make sure that their account is back to 100%.
Now they can afford their new Tesla. That's the other problem.
Now they can't afford a Tesla. Yeah, right.
The Tesla, because they just bought it.
So it's going to be painful for the Republicans.
Yeah.
Now you got to remember, Trump's in a position where he doesn't care because he can't run again, and that's why he can do whatever he feels is best.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think that he doesn't care. I think
he doesn't care about his career as a politician. He cares about the country. So now he can make every move and do everything the way he's supposed to do it without worrying about losing an election, because he's not going to be. He can't run again.
Okay, I tell you what will happen with the people.
This is where the Republicans have to stand and buck it up, and we can do this. Well, I mean, it is possible.
So I'm going to tell you that there's no doubt in my mind that this is temporary.
These other countries are already capitulating, some of them,
to
the tariffs.
At least that's what the rumor is.
So it's a bouncing beam, in my opinion.
So Trump is a very strong negotiator. And then I did have another question.
Go ahead. Yes. I mean, I hope we stay the line, and I hope this works out for us, because that's what we voted for.
Yeah, Trump is a very tough negotiator.
If it pans out that way, I don't know.
Hold on, Ken. Hold on.
Yep.
So Trump is a very strong negotiator, and he's a strong negotiator because he doesn't go, oh, maybe I should have said that. When he
doesn't
says
back down easily.
He does it. Yeah, and that's what Trump is doing right now. So now Trump is looking at this going, okay, look, this just affected the stock market a lot worse than I could have ever imagined it. And be honest with you, I look at it and go, this is a total overreaction, because I could see the stock market, after following the stock market for many, many years, this is a total overreaction, which is fantastic if you're buying stocks right now. So if you have any cash lying around, now is the time to buy. Now, it may go down a little bit more, but it's not going to go down a lot more. Matter of fact, I just found $250,000 that was allocated for something else that I'm going to now put in the stock market and try to use that money to forget about recovering the $100,000. Not the $100,000. Whatever money that I've been losing in some accounts, I may recover that. But I'm also thinking I'm going to make $100,000 a year off of that $250,000 in the next 2 years, based on what the stock market's doing.
So I tell you what's the
right. Well, that's where
Ken.
That's where panic comes in to play. People, they sold all their stocks, or the market went way down. Well, wait a minute, just let it ride.
Right.
Well, what's down? Pick something that is going to come back up. It will.
Yeah, it'll not only come back up, it'll come back up with vengeance. But right now, you just got to write it out. It's scary, and people look at things at the moment instead of over time. I mean, you looked at COVID. COVID scared me more than it should have scared me. It only scared me because I didn't understand it. Now, if something like COVID happened again,
correct,
I would fully understand what was going on. I mean, I just was, and that's what most people had the same problem. They didn't understand it. But this time, they're looking at the tariffs and they're going, so what? Eventually, it all levels off. You got to have what's his name? The Fed chair, what's his name? Powell comes in and has to say something and stoke it. He has to go, well, I don't think I'm going to lower interest rates now because inflation is going to be a problem. It's not a problem yet. The tariffs, there's no goods that are crossing over the border yet that have been taxed yet. It hasn't happened yet. I mean, could it happen? It's going to happen. There's no doubt, but it hasn't happened yet. Let's wait for it to happen.
And it will take time.
And it takes time. And also, here's the thing: like the F-150, you were talking about the Ford F-150, right? The parts some of the parts are coming in from China. Now, it's only those parts that are going up 25 or 50%.
Someone did the calculation.
But there are other parts that are not going up that much.
Someone did the calculation.
The labor doesn't go up.
No, I know.
So it's not going to cost that much more money if you have 25% or 50% tariffs on the parts of certain parts of parts. You understand what I mean?
And if,
right, you got it?
And
it's not going to matter so much. People are panicked.
And if those countries will remove the tariff from goods coming from the United States,
then we'll remove them too.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the point.
Right.
Do you know right now, I will tell you, I don't know if you know, how much tax in total there is for each car coming into Israel right now, a country that don't produce any cars. How much the tax over a car in Israel?
I don't know.
Over 120%.
120%. So if the car is $40,000, they're paying $100,000 for the car.
Correct.
And people in Israel have been living that way
what
with no
can
problem.
they do? Yeah, that's what they do.
With no problem.
That's what they know.
So there you go.
That's what they know.
Yeah.
And that's the reason. Now, I tell you another thing. If, for God's sake, our next president will be Tampon Tim, and the first thing he will do when he will get into office,
he'll give tampons for free.
He will give tampon for free, right? But he will cancel the tariffs. And those manufacturers haven't built their factories yet, right?
Right.
They won't lower the prices.
I agree with that too.
They will never. Have we ever seen prices of goods going down?
Right. It's like
never.
Inflation. Inflation is a big joke because Trump comes in, he says he's going to lower inflation.
Yes.
He will. But that doesn't mean the prices are coming down. We already have that price.
Yeah.
That price has been established, which means now every year prices will go up slower.
Correct.
But they will still go up. Prices don't come down.
Exactly. How much we used to pay for a can of soda.
Right.
It will never go back there. People need to understand that. It will never go back there.
I agree. We all already are used to paying what we've been paying. In my mind, this is like the ultimate stimulus package.
Yes.
This is what it's going to take time.
I mean, you go to McDonald's,
you get manufacturers back.
Yeah. McDonald's, get 2 hamburgers, fries, and a soda, and it's $11.
How much it used to be?
It wasn't $11. Maybe $5.
So they don't have the burger for $1 anymore, right?
But a bagel was $6.
No.
Yeah, remember when they used to have the dollar deals? You could get a burger for $1.
Yeah,
you could get French fries for $1.
It doesn't exist anymore.
They don't do that anymore.
They haven't done that in years.
Oh, that's how often I go to these places.
Even before the inflation.
Yeah. So that's the thing. The prices are not going down. They will go up. They will go up because of the tariff.
Yes.
Now, if the tariff will be removed because we will have a Democrat president, those manufacturers will not lower the prices.
But guess what they will do? They'll make more money.
Who? Of course they will. Of course they will because
that'll make the stocks go up.
Yeah.
So it's a scam. Look, the panic over the stock market.
It's a double-edged sword.
Right. So the stock market panic and what happened. If you guys are listening, you guys want to understand it. It has nothing to do with the tariffs. It has to do with the fear of what the tariffs are going to do, and it's all fake fear. It's all manufactured fear. Then you've got this one money manager who goes, I'm going to get out right now because I'm going to take my money and I'm going to make sure I make a profit. Then you got the next manager and they're all going, oh, wait, if everybody else is getting out, I better get out too.
What's guaranteeing you it will keep going down?
Right, and that's why it happened. That's why it happened the way it was. It was just panic selling. Panic selling is opportunity. Now, Monday is going to be a weird day. Monday's going to be a flaky day. It's probably not going to be another major down day. But it'll be a flaky day. Like you'll actually see the nervousness in the market, where people will be buying, selling, a little bit of fear, and then by sometime next week, you'll have people buying again, and they won't be fearful anymore.
So I'm sorry. How was Friday?
Friday was worst in 5 years.
Yeah.
More than Thursday.
2,200 points.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't know that. Yeah, it was the worst in years.
It was great though, because I bought some AAL, I bought some Boeing, I bought something else. I don't even remember.
It was worse than some days in COVID.
So that's what's going on outside. That's why all those people protesting.
Yeah, they're protesting because they're getting paid to protest.
I understand. Okay.
I was reading something about, or I saw something about how which amazes me. Clearly, he was a Democrat, but he drives a Tesla, and he took off the T on his car. Not that he got rid of the car, but he got rid of the T on his car because he, in protest of what's his name? I can't
Unbelievable.
What's his name? I can't even think of it.
That's
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. That's
the
biggest stupidity I ever
That's
heard.
what I mean. It doesn't. So you're driving.
Do you know
his
who
car.
Tesla was?
Yeah, it's like
let's think about it, Ken. Ken, we appreciate the call, man.
Thank you.
Come into Investor Schooling and see us, and we'll talk to you about what stocks you should buy if you come to Investor Schooling. So I think this pro-Tesla, anti-Tesla thing is the most ridiculous thing
stupid.
I've ever seen Americans stand
stupid.
for. Both sides. If you stand up and go, I'm going to buy a Tesla because I'm pro-Elon Musk, you're crazy. You're crazy. And if you're going to burn Teslas because you're anti-Musk, you're crazy too. You're crazier, but you're crazy. There is no reason to go buy a Tesla because you're a Republican. You buy a Tesla because you like the car, you want to get an electric car.
Exactly.
I mean,
no. Don't buy it because you want an electric car. Buy it only if you think it's a good car.
No, I understand. But if you want an electric car and you want a good electric car, you buy a Tesla. Fine.
Okay.
But if you don't want an electric car, you don't buy a Tesla. I've got some of my peers buying Teslas right now. They're like, let me show you, Larry. Let me show you what Tesla I bought. I'm like, why? Well, because I support Elon Musk. I said, you're nuts. I said, did you ever want an electric car before? Well, no, but now I want one because yeah. Well, it's just dumb.
If people has money and they're looking to spend it on something,
well,
sure.
I mean, I'm not buying a Tesla. Matter of fact, I have a Ford Explorer. I have 6 collector cars. I have a Ford Explorer, and my Ford Explorer is fine. I look at cars like I look at the BMW, I look at the Mercedes, and I'm like, why do I want to spend $150,000 on the car that does exactly what my car does with a fancier label and maybe a fancier looking interior?
Well, I
just don't care anymore.
I do have to say that I remember driving an Audi around and I really loved it. It was like a wood inlay. It was a beautiful car.
You drive a Jeep.
Can I finish?
Half a Jeep.
But I loved that Audi was beautiful, like honestly beautiful, like everything about it. It gave me the fizz. Okay. I just loved driving it around. It was gorgeous. and then I remember the day that I stopped liking Audis, and it's when it went through the
you had one delivered all the way.
I had one delivered inside of my house. And after that point,
Debbie had a car drive through her house.
So I'm telling you, when that Audi drove through my house, I wasn't as interested in Audis anymore. And yes, I have a Jeep, and I'd prefer a Jeep now.
Yeah, but you have a Jeep. I mean, you talk about the it's like a no frills car. I mean, it has air conditioning. It's a no frills car, so you're comparing it to an Audi. You can't even compare it.
Exactly. Well, I know, but I'm just saying my next car was going to be an Audi. I had full intention of buying an Audi. I had full intention of buying an Audi. I was going to get a used one, but I was full intention of buying an Audi when I get rid of the white.
It's the itchy blanket. You know why soldiers in the army, why they give them to sleep with itchy blanket?
Why?
And those folding bed. It reminds them how lucky they are.
Yeah, I want to get back to tariffs for a bit.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
An opportunity that the car manufacturers have right now, and if they're smart, they would take advantage of this opportunity.
I agree.
Ford should have an advertisement going, buy the car now before tariffs kick in and you got to pay more money.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody will go out and buy a car. It doesn't even matter. If the tariffs don't kick in, Ford made a whole lot of money. If the tariffs kick in, Ford made a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
So every manufacturer should be advertising right now, buy a car now before the tariffs come in.
So Trump claimed that they bought in the recent few months, the manufacturers, so many parts to have in stock that we shouldn't feel the increase.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I didn't even understand the airline stocks and the cruise stocks are going down. Now, I mean, there are certain tariffs that they would have to pay, but still, it's like no big deal. It's airlines are full. I've had on a flight yet that's not full, and I haven't been on a cruise ship. A cruise ship. I mean, they're incredible. You can't get. I can't. I've tried to get suites on cruise ships, and they're sold out. Suites. The suites are expensive. They're they're between $6,000 and $11,000 for a week on a cruise ship, and I can't get a suite. I got to get a balcony.
Mm-hmm.
So believe me, they're selling. No one cares. Tariffs are not going to change people's buying habits. Not a big
Got you.
deal.
Yeah.
So I don't see this. I mean, we had a 10% drop in 2 days of the stock market, which is horrible. It's insanity.
We'll see what will happen on Monday.
Yeah, we're going to see what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you now, it's a buying opportunity. Like Friday, it was so funny. I was trying to transfer money into my Charles Schwab account to buy Boeing.
Okay.
Boeing's at 136.
Wow.
I wanted to buy, I'll tell you what I was going to do. I wanted to buy Boeing Friday night. I wanted to buy Boeing at 136 because I have a feeling it's going to open above 140, maybe 145 on Monday, which is fine. But if I would have bought it at 136, and on Monday, guess what I wanted to do? Sell the covered calls.
Okay.
Now, you want to talk about a move? I figured this move out. I was going to buy 1,000 shares of Boeing, and if I sold the covered calls on Monday, I was going to make $13,000.
So all that craziness affects for how much the call cost?
No, it affects how much the stock cost.
I understand.
And the lower the stock, I could go out a little bit so the covered call, the less likelihood they'll take the stock.
So it affects the price of the call
I could
too.
buy. So if I put $150,000 into the account,
yeah,
I could buy 1,000 shares, $137,000, right? I could buy that, and then I could sell the call, and I was going to make about $18,000 on the call. So I mean, you make $18,000 for a month of risk. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's really no risk because how much more can the stock go down? I mean, Boeing is a good company. And as a matter of fact, Boeing just started their recovery before this tariff thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything, all the bad stuff about Boeing is in the past now. They settled the lawsuits. The CEO stepping up and saying, "Hey, we're gonna try harder.
The workers
we're gonna try harder to keep planes from crashing." I mean, they were doing all the right things.
The workers
and the stock
are happy.
was at 180, and now it's at 135.
Yeah, it's insane.
Forget it. It's a great buy. I'm telling you right now, if you're looking for a stock to buy Boeing. And if you want to learn a really cool strategy, we teach a covered call strategy that so far, this covered call strategy has been phenomenal. It's a covered call strategy that I teach that I don't know if I made it up. I mean, I made it up, but I'm sure other people have done it. And it's a really great strategy that you work 5 minutes a month and you make returns of between 7 and 13% a month on your portfolio. Can I guarantee that? No, but I don't really care because I'm not a stockbroker.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to do it, and if you do it, it works. I've proven it for 9 months now. For 9 months, I've been proving this strategy. So it really works. I like it. So, Debbie, you ready to buy a bunch of stocks on Monday?
I bought a bunch of stocks on Friday.
I know you bought a bunch of stocks on Friday. That's right.
Yeah, so I'm out of money now.
Yeah, me too. That's the problem.
The
problem is, we save money for a down day, and we don't realize that the next day is going to be more down than the day we bought them. But it happens.
Yeah,
it happens.
I have a beginner question to you.
A beginner question?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you make money at the stock in the stock market, when do you pay the capital gain tax?
So if you sell it,
through the system, through Charles Schwab, for example.
So if I buy a stock or a stock option on Monday and I sell that stock or stock option on Tuesday, whatever money I made, that's taxable.
They take
immediate? No, they don't take it. They take it on April 15th.
Okay.
So it's not due till April 15th. But if I lost money in a stock a week later, I get to balance that out. I get to take the losses against the gains.
I got you.
Okay, so here's my goal. My goal is to pay $500,000 to the government every year.
Okay.
After taking every possible deduction I could take. And most people don't get that. Most people don't understand that philosophy. All right. So that's my take on the stock market. I think that Trump is moving too fast. I think he needs to slow down a little bit. Because if he doesn't slow down, he's just going to keep freaking people out.
I agree. And I think with what's going on right now in the real estate market, they should really start to think about, I don't think they start, I think they are late, but considering lower the interest.
But they can't. So that was what happened was because Trump did this, Powell got on and said, I'm not going to lower interest rates now because I think tariffs are going to cause inflation.
I understand, but when people take money out from the stock market, when are they going to put it?
They're going to put it in cash. They're going to put it in banks. They're going to put it under their mattress.
So how many people will put their money right now that they took from the stock market in a CD?
So here's the problem. Most people like you and me, are a very small portion of the stock market. The big portion of the stock market are funds. So if you have money in a mutual fund, or you have money in ETF, or you have money like in Vanguard or something like that, those are the people doing the actual trading with your money. I'm telling you, when you talk about making money with other people's money, that's what you need to do now. Once you understand the concept of making money with other people's money, you realize that you don't need money. And that's basically what these people are doing. They're making money with other people's money. So, like, and I say this all the time, the average return that people get is like 6 to 8% on their returns on their ETFs and mutual funds, which is actually not even that, because then the money manager takes another 1.5 out. So they're not even doing that well. Maybe they're making 5 or 6%. But the people managing the money, the actual traders on Wall Street, they're making 50% on your money. So whenever they make $10,000,
50% of your profit?
50% of the profit.
Really?
Yes. By the time it trickles down to you, you're getting 5 and 6%. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why money managers on Fridays sold everything, because they want to keep that profit for them. That's the steak and tuna theory.
Wow.
That's when I teach the steak and tuna theory, that's what it's all based on. It's all based on the money managers being able to buy their steak dinners. And if you come to investor schooling, I'll give you more on that. It's a theory that I've created that actually has been backed up over and over again. And some really high level Wall Street people have heard this theory, and not only agree with it, but they've actually said that it's been called something else.
Okay.
I think it was somebody called it the Volkswagen Mercedes theory.
Okay.
And I thought it was very funny. It was like, yeah, you buy the Volkswagen, you buy the Mercedes. I thought it was very funny. So it's the same concept. It's no different. But anyway, that's the story. That's the situation. Is you got the money manager selling it to the person like you and me. By the time
we don't affect the stock market.
It doesn't affect the market. They don't care. It just the only thing it affects is your ability to retire or sooner, or your ability to buy something. Look, I lost, like I said, my account went down like 1/3. It's not lost. It just went down 1/3. One of my accounts went down $100,000, and that's rough. Just one of my accounts down $100,000, but at the same time, my total accounts went down 30%, 33%, 35%, whatever. And I'm not panicked about it. I'll worry about it in the next couple of weeks, because I'll see where it comes back. At the same time, I'm going to infuse some more money into the account, and that money is going to make a lot of money for me, and I'm really looking forward to it. So you have to decide what's best for you. Most of the people protesting in the giant parking lot right now, they don't even have anything in the stock market.
No, they don't have stocks. I agree.
They're getting paid $15 an hour.
They are riding
by the protest company.
They are right. No, I don't know about that, but they are riding the wave of, here, you see, we told you he's bad. See what he did.
Exactly, right. And you can't even say that, because it's only 4 months. I went to look it up, and I couldn't really find it, but I remembered when he first got into president the first time, the same thing happened. The stock market went down. February and March were terrible the first year that he was elected as president. It didn't go down, not like this. I mean, this is COVID stuff, so this is really bad. Anyway, look, if you guys want to learn more about this, we teach in investor schooling. I did a whole thing on Thursday about the stock market and tariffs and how they affect the stock market. So it was a great class. I'm always doing classes on this. If you want to learn that philosophy, or that the way I teach covered calls, and you want to learn how to make an income off of that, you can do that too. You go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. Of course, I want to thank you, Dr. Deb, for being here, and I want to thank you, Omri. I knew you had something to do today, and it was very important, so I'm glad you came in when you did, so thank you so much. Of course, I want to thank the
Sweet!
There we go. Len Page for being our producer today, and everybody else, go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
This program is paid for by investors.